Hello everyone, I am Madhog and I am joined by WhyBoy.
Hello!
And we are watching yet another classic from the Beuren library. Aesop's Fables, to be specific. As far as I know, not all the short films in the Aesop Fables collection are actually Aesop Fables.
I see. Oh my god.
I don't see an Aesop or a Fable anywhere in this.
Yeah, I just see a bunch of singing animals.
Yes, well...
And those two dead chickens.
I'm assuming they're sleeping, but
Yeah, you
sure.
never know.
It's funnier if they're dead, I suppose.
Just playing with their butts.
Okay, so if this makes you think of a Fleischer cartoon, then, well... We've only just begun, honestly, but yes,
Yeah.
in the early 30s the studio was trying to get its footing, so to speak, like the dog's footing, which is about as weirdly animated as it could get.
It's time to beat the crap out of these guys.
How many chickens were there? There were not as many chickens out there. Oink, 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 oink.
Oink, oink, oink.
I got you now, pig. Oink, oink.
Oh my.
What is Felix the cat doing here?
A little of a white version of himself.
It's his blow-up doll. It's actually that. There isn't really any other descriptor for it.
This is just weird.
Yes, like I said, Van Buren was trying to get its footing at the time, so it very blatantly ripped off various other studios
Yeah.
that were popular at the time.
How dare you dance with balloons?
I mean, this doggy here does not look like Bimbo at all.
No, not at all.
Yahoo! Well, you killed a cat. Yes, that's added to the list, I guess.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. We know what you did right now.
Well, all of you guys can get buried next.
Classic psychedelic guilt trip. I wonder if you are seeing anything familiar right now.
I'm just seeing a lot of things familiar. It just seems like a bunch of ideas from like Disney cartoons that I've seen just all put into just a cartoon here.
More specifically, the cat is out of the bag, or I should say down the well, but regardless, the point is, this short is very obviously ripping off Swing You Sinners, which came out a couple of years prior to this one. This short, by the way, is from 1933. So yes, the premise is more or less the same. Bimbo gets sent into a psychedelic guilt trip that eventually has him just being swallowed by hell itself.
Yeah.
Yes, and also the dancing skeletons and ghosties and ghoulies and whatnot,
Yeah,
that's pretty much lifted, almost scene from Swing You Sinners.
Yeah, the only difference is just the settings is just a bunch of trees in the background.
Look at this scene! This scene is a recreation of one of the final moments in Swing You Sinners.
Yeah.
They're not even trying to be subtle here.
He's just running a lot all over this place.
Also, Bimbo cannot be responsible for the murder of Felix the cat. Everybody knows Felix the cat killed himself with gas, inhaling gas, in its very first appearance.
Yeah.
Although actually, at the time it was named Master Tom, so maybe he faked his death and changed his identity to that of Felix. Aha! Another cartoon conspiracy has been brought to light. That's an abrupt way to end a musical number, I have to say.
Yeah.
He's alive! Or she's alive, I don't know.
Piss off.
Yes, pretty much. And that is the end of this not Bimbo and not Felix cartoon career. They will never be back. For reasons that by now should be quite clear.
I'm guessing they got a lawsuit for that?
No, not really. Nobody really did get a lawsuit for cartoons at the time. Yeah. Then again, it was just the beginning of the industry as it were. So, copyright holding details were not as strongly defined as they would be in the 60s or anywhere down the line, ever since Disney single-handedly ruined copyright laws for everyone.
Thanks, Disney.
You'd think that this Panicky Pup short was a big, very obvious ripoff. You have not seen Maurice the Mouse yet.
Oh, good for them. At least they're just being rounded with their ripoffs.
Tragically enough, this studio would only get its proper footing only in the last couple of years of its lifespan. By that point, their budget was enough that they could afford Disney animators. They tried to actually reboot the Felix cartoons.
Right, yeah.
Which, if you think about it, the appearance of a prototypical Felix in this cartoon almost seems like unintentional foreshadowing.
Interesting.
They can't rip off Felix if they are going to own the property. Or at least the distribution rights. Aha! Unfortunately, the studio would be closed down after that whole debacle with RKO Pictures and Disney, which, yes, it's a studio that was directly killed by Disney. I wouldn't call it ironic, but I would call it an ominous foresign of things to come in the future.
I see. Definitely sounds like that.
I hope you enjoyed this little foray into the ever so interesting Van Beuren library. We once had in mind to do a whole retrospective about this very specific legacy, but unfortunately life did get in the way, so none of that ended up happening.
Yeah.
Which is too bad, really.
Maybe just in the future we'll just see it at just our own pace. And just go through them just one at a time, just whenever we can.
The Aesop Fables was the main series of the studio, but they had several. For example, they had the Tom and Jerry shorts, which are not the same Tom and Jerry we all know and love. They were two other Tom and Jerry, which had their names changed in the future for obvious reasons. Right. But yes, they were the original Tom and Jerry, and they were a couple of human boys.
Okay.
So there is that. There are a lot of little interesting tidbits of forgotten animation history that I have interest in reviving or at least rediscovering. And on that high note, thank you for joining us, everybody. This has been Madhog.
And this has been WhyBoy.
And I guess if we were to take away a positive from the short that we just witnessed is that, you know, Bimbo in the original Swing You Sinners was dragged to hell, literally dragged to hell, for attempting to steal a chicken. The dog in this cartoon attempts to murder somebody, and he gets away with it, essentially.
Yep, he just gets some water spat at his face.
I guess in the world of New Deal cartoons, the murdering of an innocent is not as prioritized as Grand Theft Poultry. Good to know. Good to know. Good night, everybody.